So today's project is to get the vertical supports in place. And to help me with that, I picked up one of these things, which will help me support longer boards, because by my calculations, it's going to be something around 88 inches. So it might end up being actually 86 and a half. I'm going to double check that one. But, you know, that's a pretty long board. So, nice little roller guy to help me with that, so I don't have to fight with it and whatnot. So anyway, so today's goal is to get the vertical supports in and start thinking about the board that goes across it. So I was playing around with depths and whatnot, because the board's going to slide up in here, and so I think it needs to be 1 5/8. I think. I made a little test measurement here. I thought it was this, but it ended up being more like that. So that's. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. So that ends up being what? Not enough tape measure. Okay, anyway, ends up being. Dropping everything. Looks like it ends up being 1 5/8. Nope. 1 3/4. So 1 3/4 inch. But because I don't want to screw this up, I'm going to cut this little short chunk and give it a test fit and see how that works out. Alright, let's give it a shot. I've got my board. It's cut. Whoa, we can barely see. It's cut 8 inches down by 1 3/4. So let's just give this prototype one a test fit. Oh, that's really tight. Alright. So, well, there's a little bit of a gap. And that's okay. The thing I'm noticing though is right there, it's hitting the wall. So just like what I did with the floorboard here, where I kind of notched it out, you can kind of maybe see it there on the end right there. I'm probably gonna have to do the same thing to these verticals. Once I got them kind of cut and kind of in place, just mark them out and notch them out and fit them all the way down the wall. It'll just make them more custom, I guess. Alright, now that I got the board cut out to 86 inches, now I need to plan out the rest of the story, because I got to do that notching I did on the prototype here, and then I've got right here where the board's gonna go. That is 14.5 inches down from the top. I'm going to have a 34-inch long board. So I'm still debating in my head how deep I want to make this groove. I was thinking, oh, I'll just make it a 1/2 inch because I got a 1/2 inch piece of plywood. But at the same time, it doesn't need to be a 1/2 inch. It could be a whole inch. And so I'm still debating that. I'm going to see where my brain gets. But first things first, I need to mark this board, you know, which side's, you know, inside, outside, so that I don't cut on one side, then cut on the other side and screw the whole damn thing up. So got to get that done first. Well, my first mistake with the table saw. This is supposed to be this long, and I cut almost all the way through the damn board. So I'm debating what to do next, but I think I'm going to end up just having to go get a new board. Alright, my first test fit of the first vertical piece. Let's see here. Let me pencil down. Let's see if I can get this in here. Okay, that guy goes there. And this sits right on that edge there. Alright, cool. Alright, let's take a look. Actually, not too bad. It's pretty good up in that corner, and it seems to be riding all the way to the top nice and flush. That's pretty clear. all the way down. I don't know what we were hitting. Whoa! Maybe we just didn't have a reference point or something. Or maybe it was, I see what it was. I was closer to the box than when I was not. So that's not too bad. Should get a level. Let's get a level here. Check it out. That's not too bad. I'd call that pretty good. Okay, so that's where he goes. That's looking pretty good, and I probably should check here and make sure that I got a 1/2 inch worth of clearance all the way, so at least it could slide in unobstructed. Let me get a tape measure and find out. All right, I got a depth gauge sense. So let's see here. 1/2 inch. Looks pretty clear. Let's get a better angle on that. Yeah, it looks pretty clear. I mean, these high points, it still looks like a 1/2 inch is going to be pretty good. That one might just barely squeak by. So I think we're going to be okay. I think it's going to work out just fine with that one. I won't have to make any more mods. I guess I'll get started on the next one. Well, after a good amount of saw work and some chiseling, ta-da, the right side is done. So let's go give this guy a test fit here. Alright, hopefully things go as good. Well, let's see. It doesn't quite fit in this one. You can see it's not. It's intended to be right up, flush up against here. Doesn't quite fit. I can't quite tell if it's because of here, which it might be, or because of the top. Let's see if I shove the camera up there. Alright, let's see. You can see anything there. As you might have been able to see there, looks like I've just got it just a scoosh too long. So I might just need to take like a blade's width out of the material, and that will, I think then this won't be so tight. Well, it's in, and it looks better. And it's more vertical and everything, but it's not quite there yet. I think, well, I'm hitting something. I'm not sure what I'm hitting. Oh, I know what I'm hitting. I'm hitting right there. Right at the top of the groove, you can see it's just hitting right there. I guess I could cut that down just a bit. Also, it looks like it might be hitting right there. So if I take out a little bit there and take out a little bit there, I think I'll be able to get a nice fit against the wall. Well, third fitting, and now that I've taken that notch out, it's right up against the wall. Looks nice. I like it. I mean, I'm a little annoyed that they step off the footer a bit, but you know what? I'm gonna just live with it because it's gonna be way better than it is right now. So I'll learn to love it. All right. I think I want to get my 45s cut up for the bottom, so here and there, and then I'll find my positions, get my drill sets out, and start drilling, you know, up in here, and start securing for there and securing for there. So the cutting is mainly done, and then I just broke out the good old belt sander. I just kind of cleaned this area up here. You can still kind of see, if you maybe look closely, little grooves where I sawed and then chiseled this out. But I figured I'd give it just a little bit of a sanding so there's no hang-ups when the board tries to slide in. If there's like a little jagged piece that got in the way, I would kick myself and just be frustrated as all hell because I could have sanded it and blah blah blah. Anyways, so I just finished that up. Now with that sanding done, I feel good. I got my 45s cut. I think it's time to get out the levels, mark, and get ready to drill and secure. Well, that's it for the night, and you can see that it's in place. If I back up far enough, you can kind of see the whole assembly there. Ooh, gotta keep going, gotta keep going. There we go. So you can kind of see everything's there, and it's secured to the base board with the 45s there and there. And then up in here, it's secured through screws into the back there. So it's nice and sturdy, nice and good in place. And now I just have to fabricate the board that'll slide behind here. But, you know, I'm tired, and I think I'm going to have to abandon it. Something else I think I'm going to have to abandon is I did want to paint it, but I think I'm going to have to do that after they're done with their install. That way, it's just not, you know, slowing anything down. But for tonight, I think that's a good amount of work. It's the next day, and the last little part to be done is this board here that the actual breaker assembly will sit on. So that's going to come out of this dude. Well, my original plan was to use the table saw to just cut that and then be done, but the reality is the basement isn't big enough to wield that whole sheet of plywood around down here. So I think what I'm going to do is cut out the rough shape of it with my jigsaw, and then once it's down to a wieldable size, I'll be able to use the table saw to give it a nice, you know, final pass on it. And then the whole portions will be done. You know, I won't actually be able to mount it until this guy is out of here tomorrow, but I can kind of test fit it here, make sure that it fits and it doesn't jam up or whatever. But from the looks of it, everything's a go. So I guess I gotta just measure out and cut a board. As you can see from this pencil line, it didn't cut a very good straight line. So good thing I gave myself ample overage, so hopefully when I cut it with the table saw, it's nice and perfecto. Alright. And boom, there it is. My board for my new breaker panel. It's a little short, so when you actually get this thing up in here, get it up in here, you can see that it's about 1 inch short, which is partly due to the fact that the table saw fence isn't compatible with 34 inches. I think it cuts out at about 30. But, so I had to freehand it, so it's a little bit off. Then I took a 1/2 inch out just to make sure it fit. Then I think I may have taken like another 1/4 inch off in accident. So, anyways, it'll work. It'll fit. Now I just have to screw it in place here after Old and Busted gets out of here. But as far as I'm concerned, until tomorrow when we do the install, I'm done with this project, and now I just got to clean up the mess.